Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back another video from 6. I'm continuing my kind of like look into where Jujutsu Kaisen stands within the versus kind of scenario. I'm starting to establish that Naruto is a stronger verse than JJK, but I think this is an interesting matchup because Naruto is like the peak of, Naruto. And then we've got the special grades, which are just up there as well. So I want to say that Naruto will win this, but it also depends on kind of like how he interacts with the special grades, like abilities and stuff. And 6 always does a really good job going through all the little details and that. So yeah, let's check it out because I want to do this one. Then it's where's my list? Where's my list? Where's my list? We got Naruto versus special grades. Then it's Gojo versus the Akatsuki. Then it's Madara versus Kuna. Then it's Kenpachi versus JJK. You know, cool. And yeah, if you want to see Patreon only reactions and get your name in the end of the video, check the Patreon link down below. $1 a month is all that helps the channel. Let's get into this.
There are 4 sorcerers in Jujutsu Kaisen granted the rank of special grade, that being Geto, Yuta, Yuki, and the strongest of the modern era, Gojo Satoru. Within the context of their story, each of these sorcerers are extremely powerful in their own right.
That just makes it interesting already, and it with Gojo being on there, it's like, I don't know how it's gonna. Yeah, right.
But how can the strongest sorcerers do against the strongest ninja, that being Naruto Uzumaki?
It's gonna be interesting.
To be very specific with what characters will be here, it'll be whatever you think the strongest version of Naruto is outside of Baryon mode, versus all of these sorcerers.
So not right, okay.
At what would be
Not including
considered
Baryon
their
mode.
prime. So Volume 0 Geto, current Yuta, Yuki as of her last appearance, and the same for Gojo. We'll talk about Naruto versus all of them individually, and then what would happen if Yuki, Yuta, and Geto all jumped
Just
Naruto.
teamed him,
and
Jesus
then
Christ.
talk about Gojo separately, since it's stated in verse that anyone fighting with Gojo holds him back because he's that much stronger than everyone else. To answer this question, I brought my friend Troy on, so be sure to
Cool.
subscribe to his
Let's
channel,
go.
and obviously leave a like on the video and subscribe to me as well, as I greatly appreciate it. So, since I've talked about JJK characters at length a few times now with Goku versus Gojo and Toji versus the Sasuke Retrieval team, I'm going to let Troy start with scaling the special grades aside from Gojo, since none of them can help Gojo. You know, he should scale massively higher than all of them. And just where they should be at generally physically in comparison to someone like Naruto.
Yeah. So the JJK verse really doesn't have that many statements, especially early on in the series. They really get their first quantification for speed with Naoya versus Maki. I believe it's Mach 3 that he has to kind of rev up to reach Mach 3 speeds. Now,
Yeah.
Maki, after she awakens and, really discovers herself, she's able to easily dodge this, surpass it with her precog and sheer speed alone.
She is so freaking fast.
And it's really being generous because Maki should far surpass this speed, as she was easily reacting, but this is the only quantification we have. The next speed tier we can get into that's sort of along the lines of quantifications, not on the number basis, but more or less just the label of it, is the lightning speed meta. This mostly comes from Kashimo and Hikari, and also Nue's lightning bolts. I'll let 6 get into his gripes with this, and if he disagrees or agrees.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've talked about this stuff before, but my issue mainly with the Hikari thing is just that I kind of think it is a perspective panel where it seems like the lightning's heading for Hikari.
Oh yeah, he mentioned this in the last one, didn't he? Like it could look like it, but because we're seeing it from that side, it could actually still be going for the arm, but we're seeing it sideways on. Yeah.
But it's actually just heading for his arm, like a subversion of expectations thing. But let's just say, you want to be generous. They are up against Naruto after all. So let's just say you want to be generous and say that these characters can actually react to speeds this fast. It's really only a reaction speed feat, and I mean, in the end, right, Hikari can't dodge it because
he still gets hit. Even if he is trying to move, it's not really that much of a reaction, is it? He still doesn't get out of the way of it. He loses his arm.
Hashimo's lightning is a sure hit, but he does only move enough for it to hit his arm. Like, he can't even move his entire arm out the way. So they can only like slightly react to lightning speed at best, if you want to give them that. Their combat speed and all that stuff should probably still be around the like vaguely above Mach 3 level. I mean, JJK, realistically, like just being so real, JJK mainly suffers from a lack of statements.
That's true. Yeah, you don't have people being like, "This is how strong I am. This is what I can do." It just yeah.
To kind of add on to what he was saying about it mainly just being reaction speed feats, we see that Maki, when she's, getting hit by Nue's lightning from the Nue Amp Sukuna, that she doesn't even dodge it. She just puts up her hands and the lightning bolts hit her.
Yeah.
She just tanks it like the Chad she is.
She's
and
just
also
so cool. She's just so
see
cool.
if you want to take the
her and Toji, man, it's just like
version of JJK, when Toji, Maki's equal, the person who she reaches her full potential becomes just like him. He's able to turn his head at the sight of Nue's lightning and not able to dodge it. It destroys the building, scene pans away, then he's jumping out of the destroyed building. So that kind of further adds to the narrative that they're not really fast enough to get out of the way and do stuff like that, but they're able to put up their guard or just look at the speed that lightning travels.
Yeah, it's just very consistent that if it is lightning speed characters, that they all can just only react to it, not actually move in combat that fast, with the exception of maybe Gojo, and we'll get into that stuff later with like Curse Technique released Kashimo and all that. When it comes to like the JJK characters AP, stuff here can get a little bit wild. Like you have people claiming that, well, Gojo should be able to punch harder than Dogon's domain. So, with Black Flash, Gojo should be solar system level, scaling up from Island. It's really weird. Not only can we not really say that these characters would hit a Black Flash, obviously when we get into Naruto scaling, we'll talk about that. Black Flash is, just based on luck. None of these people are
lucky
as
hit,
skilled
isn't it?
as Yuji is with it, where it makes it seem like you can just hit it at will. The only person maybe is Gojo, but we're not talking about him right now.
Yeah.
So their AP, for the most part, it's just very, very weird. I don't like putting them at, any specific level, because most of the time the calcs scale off of the lower level characters. Like, I think personally that Yuta or Yuki should be able to demolish Jogo in his highest speed. And Jogo has like the highest level AP feat in the entire verse with his maximum meteor.
Maximum meteor. So it's more like, the only AP feats we have of people way below what special grade sorcerers can do. Like Gojo can single-handedly, while not trying, beat up Jogo, Mahito, Hanami, all of them, make them run for their lives. The only option they had was to seal this guy.
And even then, it's not like these people reach these levels with just normal attacks. Like this is Jogo using maximum meteor, and supposedly, like allegedly, if that hit Sukuna, it would have damaged him. And like, it's hard to say that Gojo with just random attacks can get over Jogo's maximum meteor, right? I mean, like, he punches Jogo in the stomach 4 times with blue enhanced punches. He's doing the hand seals for it and everything, and it still doesn't unalive him or anything or exercise.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just
is he
really
messing
weird.
around with
I think
him?
like, you got mountain level with Jogo, you got island level with Dogon. Some calcs have them even higher than that. I don't think any JJK character gets up into like the multi-continental or continental ranges. So I guess if you want to say, as a highball that, or like a highball this country for them, because special grade should be able to take down a nation.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
But it's also like JJK characters as a whole, I don't think they're supposed to like hit hard enough to destroy a continent. Most of the special grades aren't supposed to hit that hard. They're not supposed to like throw a punch and it destroys a mountain. Because most, if not all of them, have techniques that either bypass durability or completely negate it in general. So it really just comes down to what their hex is able to do. We'll get into that later on in the video, but like Six was saying, AP really doesn't matter. That's why it really just shouldn't be talked about in a JJK versus battle.
Yeah. So getting into Naruto, I mean, bare minimum, you can scale Naruto to light speed based on multiple things. Either the Raikage and how fast he moves, and Naruto being faster than him. Madara's Light Fang, Naruto being able to dodge that. I wouldn't go as far as saying, Haku in part 1 and scaling up, calc stacking off of that. I think that's, we get some crazy numbers there. It's probably inconsistent.
Disingenuous.
Yeah, but then, I mean, if you get to adult Naruto should just be far stronger than his teen version of himself. So he's,
of course.
Definitely in that light speed category, probably much higher. We don't really want to claim too much keep the video simple, I think saying Naruto is at the bare minimum light
Light
speed
speed.
is acceptable for most people.
Perfectly acceptable. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would really have an issue with that. Again, not saying he's the definitively, just that level or way higher. I think everyone would agree that's a comfortable way to like have his grounding.
Yeah. And then similarly with his AP, right, we're not going to get into any of the universal or solar system scaling, no matter
Yeah.
how consistent that stuff is, but it's pretty consistent. Naruto did tank the attack that split the moon. That has its own calcs,
Yeah.
moon level,
Yeah.
Large planet level. I
Yeah,
think
because we're
I've seen
going
it get up
beyond
to.
to like
The
before
large
Baryon
planet
right now, yeah.
part of the calc just comes from Toneri being able to throw the moon at the planet with enough force to destroy it. It's not necessarily from splitting the moon, and Naruto's able to like clash with his power and beat up Toneri when he's harvesting and going out of control with all of Hamura's power and the Tensegon's power in general. So planet level, I feel like is a safe low ball as well. Doesn't really matter to go any higher.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'd say the maximum you could put Naruto is planetary, but then when you look at the JJK special grades, they've already said it's like continental, isn't it? But then it's like again, what they can do, what they can take.
Or lower, I think that's pretty grounded.
Yeah, there's also like the 100 Jonin that could power the cannon to, shoot down or
Yeah.
obliterate the moon or whatever. Naruto should just be stronger than that, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, we
Pretty
saw what he
fair.
did in the war.
yeah, pretty fair to
100
say
Jonin
Naruto's
is
stronger
anything.
than those, 100 random Jonin or whatever. So, I mean, you got that kind of scale for them. And obviously, you could tell from that Naruto is probably massively stronger than the JJK characters. But it's not all about that, right? So, we're going to talk about scenarios where, we give the JJK characters some benefit of the doubt, how they could stack up to Naruto.
Be a little generous, to make this more of a fun video.
Yeah, be a little generous. So, with Ghetto, I'll let you start with Ghetto because I've already talked about Ghetto at length a few times now. People
Yeah.
know what I think of him, so he can go ahead.
Yeah, I think Ghetto, pretty comfortably at the bottom of the special grades. I don't think anyone will really have an
Yeah.
issue with that. His hacks,
Yeah, not to say that he's a weak character, but like you got to rank them all at some point. I mean, you have to like understand what you're doing with this, and I would put Ghetto at the bottom.
also just come in the form of the cursed spirits that he holds within his body. They each have their own abilities. We don't, of course, know the thousands of techniques that they have, but we know a few of them. A few of them have some pretty, poison hacks or maybe beam hacks. But for the most part, he is just a physical and AP type of brawler. Now he can combine all of his curses that he holds within his bodies into a Uzumaki, and that just blows out all of his power in one blow. He doesn't have a domain that we know of, so he can't really make a barrier space like the other special grades. So that won't really come in handy within this fight. But Naruto pretty much just be able to beat on him and his curses.
Yeah,
And if he
definitely.
really feels that Naruto is that much of a threat and he's not going to be able to take him out with just throwing random curses at him, he should combine them all into a Uzumaki. And I mean, we know how that goes. Naruto just Rasengans or tail beast bombs him away, and
Yeah, he got no
stands-
problem with Ghetto.
Yeah, he just stands there and walks through it, and it just ends just like Volume 0 did. But this time, his body's obliterated. I mean, he
Yeah.
finishes the job.
It's really hard to be generous to Ghetto because Ghetto doesn't even really have hacks like that. Like we don't even really know the curses he has and what they all can
What they do, yeah.
in order to harm Naruto. It gets a little bit different when we get to Yuta because we could talk about like cursed speech versus Naruto, how something like that would interact with him.
Be interesting to talk about Yuta now as well, considering we've seen his domain and like all that other stuff. But
Okay, speaking purely from a how tough Naruto is versus what Yuta can do's perspective, if Yuta tries to use cursed speech on Naruto, he's gonna blow his throat out the same way Inumaki did versus Hanami, right?
Yeah, it's not going well.
I guess you could say Yuta, if he uses the microphone, he would get over that disadvantage because there would be no blowback on his throat. At most, maybe, I don't know, the megaphone would explode or something like that. We don't really know what would happen in a situation like that, but cursed speech versus Naruto is a little bit weird because I feel like you could compare cursed speech to Genjutsu a little bit. So let's say it does
Yeah,
work. Let's
definitely.
say he says, don't move, and Naruto...
I could say that, yeah, because I could see that. Sorry, like yeah, you can compare it to Genjutsu because like you're tricking the mind into seeing and doing things, that they're not actually doing, like wanting
stuck
to
sitting
do,
still.
conceiving.
Could Kurama not just take over Naruto's body and start moving for him instead? Like, could they not switch? Because
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't think you could say that curse speech activates on the soul like it would affect the mental plane Naruto's on when he talks to Kurama. So he's like, Kurama, hey, I can't move my
And then
body
Kurama
for
just
you.
goes, okay.
Then Kurama could take over and do that because we do know curse speech is about controlling or putting cursed energy into sound, and then that goes into your brain. You follow the command. So if it's not Naruto's brain, Kurama should be able to operate the body.
And what's also kind of weird about cursed speech is if you go with the line of thinking that he's just using pure cursed energy to control him, through the sound waves and his body basically gets Yuta's cursed energy on top of it to stop the movement. Could Kurama just not amp him up with Nine Tails chakra? Could Naruto just not fluctuate his chakra to overpower the ability? Because yeah, it's not destroying his throat or anything. It's gonna destroy the microphone, but that doesn't give it no limits, right? It doesn't mean just because it has no repercussions on him, his cursed energy can now affect everything, whatever amount. Because we know he can't beat Gojo with it. We know he can't beat Sukuna with it, so it clearly has its limitations. So if it would work at all on the overwhelming,
That's very true. Yes, if he's not going up against like the strongest within the verse, then surely there's reasons for that. And yeah, okay.
chakra that Naruto has is kind of in question as well.
I think one thing worth mentioning is that Naruto and Yuta are kind of similar in the ways that, like, okay, Yuta has extreme amounts of cursed energy, Naruto has extreme amounts of chakra, and then they both have the kind of like demon companion with them. Yuta has
That's
the
true
Queen
as well,
Curses
yeah.
Rika, and Naruto has the strongest tailed beast, aside from Ten Tails, Kurama. I think a funny situation is like, if Yuta brings out Rika, and then Naruto, we know he can split Kurama off from himself. He like brings out Kurama in response.
Oh yeah,
that'd be
would
well
be a
cool.
bloodbath, but it would be cool to see.
That'd be cool to see.
It's just like, Naruto has a response for things Yuta could do. Like if
yeah,
you talk about
true.
sky manipulation as well. Now sky manipulation is actually probably Yuta's best tool here, because it really does not matter how strong Naruto is if the attacks can't hit Yuta. Right.
Yeah, and he can also deflect attacks as well. So a Rasengan or Tail Beast Bomb,
yeah.
if he was able to react and actually handle it, he can just deflect it to Naruto and damage him that way.
Exactly. So it's like, if you give Yuta the benefit of the doubt, you think he can react to Naruto and
He's
whatnot,
doing a
that's
better
actually,
job than
pretty good
Gato, isn't
method,
he?
to be able to defeat him. Like if Naruto throws a Rasen Shuriken at him, he can flip the Rasen Shuriken in the air like he did against
Oh
Ryu,
yeah, that would be
bring it back down
hard.
on him. Yeah. So
Because it negates durability as well, so Naruto can't even guard against it.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's that, but I mean that's really it. I mean, realistically, like we said, Naruto should be speed blitzing Yuta, putting him down. But yeah,
Probably just speed blitz punch him.
then with Yuki, no, Yuki's weird, right? Because Yuki really has nothing, because she's like a punch kick merchant. And then with her mass punches and whatnot. Obviously, those probably aren't going to affect Naruto with the things we can actually scale Yuki to. The main thing that I know people want to hear us talk about here is, how does Naruto survive a black hole?
Oh yeah, that's her one and only trait, bro.
Yeah.
The black hole,
one and
the
only
end all
trait,
be
the
all.
black hole. So, I mean, okay, if Yuki actually does create a black hole, it's pretty hard to say Naruto would just like fly out of that. Just being real, right?
Yeah.
That's if it gets to that point, though. Now, can Jaku split Yuki in half? She was able to grab him, tug him down into the black hole or whatever, right? If Naruto hits Yuki with, I don't know, a massive Rasengan or something like
She's
that,
down.
her body is getting erased from existence.
She's
Yeah,
out.
it's not just a simple cut in half.
Yeah,
or
it's
maybe
not
a
slices
crawl
it
around.
like
her
it's-
body's just vaporized.
Yeah.
So that's one way around it. Another way is like, say Naruto does cut her in half for whatever brutal reason he would do something like that. Naruto does cut her in half.
Very out of
Yuki's
character,
not
okay.
grabbing Naruto's ankle. Naruto has Sage mode. Obviously, he can sense what's going on. So it's not like he's not going to be able to sense Yuki reaching for his ankle or that she's still alive or something like that. In the instance that does happen, he could obviously, I don't know, substitute a shadow clone or something like that, substitute a log, and then just hit her with the giant Rasengan before she's able to actually get the black hole off if it starts happening, because he's just faster than Yuki. So if she starts
plain
adding
simple.
all that mass, he can really quickly erase.
Yeah, this is kind of like the part where like most special grades, at least right now, because the story isn't over, of course. Most special grades, source on the sorcerer side, if they've had their domain mentioned or even used, we don't really know the effects. Like Yuta's domain got canceled out by the cockroach. Yuki didn't even go with her domain because she had a whole separate plan. So it's like Yuki has this star attack, black hole attack that could possibly win if we be generous, give her the benefit of the doubt.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because now Yuta's domain has all those other, like, each blade gives him the ability to use like different abilities that he's seen in that, and then was it? He's literally, that chapter ended with him using Sukuna's own like, was it cleave or something against him, like being able to use Sukuna's abilities. Like, how's that? Definitely ups Yuta's like potential within this fight, doesn't it? But
But if she
anyway.
had her domain, maybe the hacks in there could do something. We just don't know what it does though.
Yeah, and same thing with Yuta. I can't believe I forgot to say that for Yuta. But yeah, same thing with Yuta. We don't know what Yuta's domain is. And even if, Yuta did start popping a domain, I doubt Naruto would just sit there. I think he would just leave it, before it closed on him or whatever. Things don't really change when you say, okay, all these guys jump Naruto either, because, I mean, they're all much weaker than him, and they don't have that much synergy.
Yeah,
So,
no.
Yeah, I was playing because Yuki's, black hole attack, quote unquote, that would just kill her allies.
Yeah, she's taking everyone
If
out.
Geto launches a big Uzumaki and a blast is too large, it might harm them as well. So it's like the only person
They
who
ain't
can work
working
in
together,
conjunction with
yeah.
probably both is Yuta, just due to his pure diversity and the fact that he's good with team battles. Just pretty much all of his fights are team battles. But I don't see Geto and Yuki clashing well with their techniques.
yeah. So I guess from there, Naruto wins. Moving on to Gojo.
Here we go. This is where it gets interesting.
Obviously, Gojo's, the Infinity, blah, 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 blah. Let's just talk about his light speed stuff first, then we'll move into that. So obviously,
Yeah, I think those are the most important.
most of the light speed stuff is gonna come from Kashimo. All right, Kashimo can fire electromagnetic waves, and Sukuna reacted to it. Now, I, I'm, I'm of the opinion that in this panel, Sukuna simply dodged Kashimo before the attack was launched. Like, Kashimo was about to shoot the
Right,
attack.
not actually dodging the attack
dodges
itself, just
the
got out of the way
attack,
before it was fired.
doesn't
Okay.
doesn't hit him at all. I don't think that Kashimo launched the attack and then Sukuna dodged, making him light speed or have relativistic reactions or anything like that.
Okay.
Same
think-
thing with the forearm Sukuna. Whenever Kashimo launched the blast at him, that blast didn't even look like the electromagnetic waves that he shot at Megami Sukuna. That one, like, had a little spark in his palm or whatever. This one, he shoots at forearm Sukuna. There's like the cursed energy all around his hands, and he fires it at him. So, I don't really know what that one was. That could have been a blast of cursed energy or something. I just don't think you could say it was the electromagnetic waves.
Yeah, and to kind of give more, bang for the theory that Sukuna maybe dodged before the blast came out. In the way that Gege shows the panels, because the way to show someone dodging is, of course, showing a technique being launched and them just moving out the way, right, panel to panel like that. It's more that they put emphasis on Sukuna realizing something was happening, and then he's just out of the way. Then like the technique comes out and then he moves. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of with 6 on this, that maybe it was
Yeah,
a
okay,
dodge,
yeah.
maybe he dodged before.
Dodged before, yeah.
And I'm not just gonna repeat what 6 said. Yeah, the other blast just doesn't look like the same technique.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, that pretty much covers that. Like, as far as the light speed metas go, even if you want to say that last blast he used on forearm Sukuna was a light speed attack, the distance is not calced. We don't know, when Sukuna did react to that one. We do know that he did react though. So now obviously the conversation becomes, how can Naruto get through Infinity? And we could take the cop out route, being a skeptic, oh, Infinity's never blocked a moon level attack, that's,
Yeah, true,
that's just
yeah.
lame.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just boring.
Let's just
It's
be
not the
honest, that's just
interesting
lame.
approach.
So now, if we do say that, because we do have a couple ways Naruto can get past it. If we do say that, he is blocking all of Naruto's attacks with Infinity, obviously Gojo can't keep up with Naruto, but he is just, he's blocking all of his attacks or whatever. And we do have that if Naruto's just like trying things on Gojo, right? And Naruto they make plans in Naruto on the fly of like things to do. If Naruto notices that he can talk to Gojo and conversate, he's probably like, okay, well, a sound attack would
Would
probably
work.
work on this guy.
Yeah.
And who does Naruto know and can use that has sound attacks?
Ma and
Ma and
Pa.
Pa, exactly.
All
So
right,
they were
interesting.
going to use the attack on Pain, right? So it's not like they're not willing to use it when they work with Naruto. They just didn't because Pain stopped it. So if he calls in Ma and Pa, boom, Gojo's under Genjutsu.
Sweet.
He'll probably have Infinity down by that point, and then boom, Naruto just knocks him out. Now we do know Sound gets to Infinity not only because people can talk to Gojo, but because whenever Gojo did get attacked by Sound with the Ember insects that Jogo used on him in chapter
Okay,
14,
yeah.
I think it was, we do see it affecting him, and Gojo like knows it. Oh, Sound, like, so we do know Gojo is vulnerable
To
to
sound.
sound
Okay,
attacks.
that's interesting.
If
Yeah,
you
cool.
if you want to say that. Another way you could say Naruto could bypass Infinity is with domain expansion. I'll let you explain this. I've been yapping for a minute.
Yeah. So with domain expansion in particular, there's a couple ways, just to get past it. If Gojo were to launch a domain, and let's say Naruto saw the barrier constructing, he could just either substitute with the log or with the clone, move out of the way. I don't think you can really prove Infinity would kill the clone anyway, so the clone would just be stuck there. And we know after Infinity's done, or if Naruto just destroys the barrier from the outside like Sukuna did, because he's way faster than the construction of it. Gojo's curse technique is down, so he has no infinity. He gets Rasengan in the stomach. That's the cut, clean, dry way to get past it. Another way is if he does actually trap Naruto within the barrier. Kurama could swap with Naruto and kind of be the Megami, that it was for Sukuna, but for Naruto, and then he doesn't take any of the damage from Unlimited Void, and he just gets past Infinity that way. So yeah, those are pretty much the easiest ways that I see this battle going because of course Gojo can't damage Naruto in any way, and
Yeah.
when he sees that, he'll of course go to what bypasses durability, the cut and dry for sure way that he knows usually works on opponents, which is domain expansion. When he fought the strongest person within the show so far, that being Sukuna, he used domain what 4 times.
Yeah,
So yeah,
5.
he used domain. Oh, he used it 5 times. So yeah, he used domain quite a bit. Once he sees nothing's working, domain expansion, Naruto does something to avoid it. Infinity's down, one shot.
I mean, to talk about Naruto and Infinite Void a little bit more, specifically the Shadow Clone point, where Troy said you can't really prove that it would kill the Shadow Clone. So the longest we've ever seen someone be put under Unlimited Void was a little less than 10 seconds with Sukuna.
Yeah.
I guess you could count Megami, but Gojo didn't know Megami was under it at the time. So a little less than 10 seconds with Sukuna. And with that, if Naruto did sub in a Shadow Clone, right? Say Gojo did, start letting the Shadow Clones burn or whatever, he could break the barrier and break the domain before the 10 seconds because we know Naruto's way stronger than Sukuna
Yeah.
slashes. You could break the barrier and the clone takes Infinite Void for what, I don't know, 0.2 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that's pretty much it. I mean, Naruto pretty much would just beat up every special grade.
Fair enough.
The curse is it gets even worse. Obviously you can watch all of them. Um, obviously go subscribe to Troy. He doesn't make
Yes,
that
sir.
great of content, but it's over there. And subscribe to me as well. But other than that, goodbye.
Cool. So there we go. Right. Okay. So yeah, Naruto's still got that when it comes to like the strongest within the verse. But again, the way Yuta's domain works makes things a little interesting. But I think still Naruto still got it. So the next one on my list is Gojo versus the Akatsuki, but that's from a different person's channel. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, we're checking out other people's stuff. Interesting, fun times. Thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video and to be able to watch patron-only reactions, link is in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask for. Chance greatly appreciate. Thank you for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. I'll see you guys next time.